Looking at the company's core values and mission is probably the most important thing you could do while preparing for a job interview. And at Facebook, for instance, Sheryl Sandberg starts every meeting by re-emphasizing Facebook mission, that is, to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. And just as a quick note, this is the newer version of their mission, and the older one being to give people the power to share and make the world more open and connected. Now, you've probably noticed the emphasis on community on their latest mission. Now, this being said, it's very important to note from the beginning that Facebook is no longer buying into that rather old-fashioned concept of hiring specifically for culture fit. And here is an official statement from Facebook's spokesperson. At Facebook, we've explicitly asked interviewers not to use the term culture fit when giving feedback on a candidate because that phrase can easily allow bias to influence the outcome of an interview. As part of a larger effort to help people identify and correct for the biases that we all inherently have, interviewers at Facebook go through managing bias training and are encouraged to use the skills they've learned when interviewing candidates. So this being said, Facebook's 5 core values are something that are at the core at its recruitment strategy. So probably the best way to explain this first core value would be to talk a bit about Facebook's founder story. That is, this is not his first project. He was actually involved in many other ones, including other social networking websites. And as he once said, if he knew what would it mean to build a company like Facebook, he would have never started in the first place. Now, another example he gave at the Harvard commencement speech was during the early days of Facebook, when the company started growing and other major companies were increasingly interested in buying Facebook, but Mark Zuckerberg wasn't interested in selling. He was rather interested in this incredible opportunity to connect more people. So again, an example of taking a bold bet. So maybe for you as a candidate, a good idea would be to prepare a story, a similar highlight in your life that from which it would reflect this mentality of taking bold bets. Focusing on impact is another important core value at Facebook, and in another speech that Mark Zuckerberg gave at Harvard, he referenced the unique opportunity that our generation has to take on the world's greatest problems, and this is of course due to the recent technological advances creating this sort of opportunity. But more interestingly, I believe for a candidate, the main takeaway here is that you should be the type of person that gets motivated by this sense of a higher purpose. So I believe this is a great test to see whether you'd be a great fit inside Facebook. So moving fast is probably best explained by Sheryl Sandberg in an interview, I believe a decade ago or so, in which she explained the major difference between Google's culture and Facebook's culture. And at Google, they are more about AI and about a more structured approach. And whenever they launch something, they do so in stages. And by contrast, at Facebook, everything is moving much faster. Everything is around iterating as fast as possible and basically shipping a product and see how it works. So this is, I believe, also a very unique element for Facebook's workplace. So being open and building social value in general is also best explained by one of Mark Zuckerberg's speeches, in which he said that their initial goal with Facebook was not to become a company. So I guess the main takeaway here is you shouldn't start a company for the sake of finding problems that you should solve, but you should go the other way around. But But anyway, within a recruitment context, I believe your main thing to understand here is that you should be the type of person that again gets turned on by this sense of a higher purpose that I earlier referenced. And notice again the use of the word social and community. So you should also make the connection with their new mission at Facebook.